Hello and welcome once again to my 11 plus maths problem solving sessions. There are two questions I will solve in this video. Each question has several parts to it. So let's get started. The first question is a recipe for a pudding for 6 people requires the ingredients listed in the box on the right. So we have these ingredients. We have 3 eggs. We have 240 gram of flour. We have 90 grams sultanas, 150 ml of milk, 40 gram of butter. And I want to adapt this recipe to make a similar pudding that serves 8 people. So the first two questions are based on the fact that if it is 8 people, how much of these ingredients would you need? So for 8 people, I would need so many eggs and so much milk. We have to calculate that. And then if instead I want to make a pudding for 9 people, then what you would need, the sultanas and butter, how much you would need? Okay, and then this question says, later I find the recipe for the same pudding in a recipe book, but this version calls for 5 eggs. So there are 5 eggs now that you will need, that you have. And so with 5 egg, how many people can you serve? Now mind you, this part C, this question, this one is making some assumptions that the rest of the ingredients are the same and they're needed in the same quantities. As you would if you were to serve 6 people, you know what I mean. They don't say about that. So the rest are the same. So we will use that assumption, or to solve this question. Otherwise it would get very difficult to solve it. So we will use that assumption. And then it says in the 5 egg version you would need to use so many grams of flour. So we will start. So the first question for 8 people, part A, for 8 people I would need how many eggs? So we have 3 eggs for 6 people. So for 8 people, the number of eggs I would need is 3 out of 6 multiplied by 8, and that would give me 4. For milk, I would be, for 8 people, the milk would be 150 divided by 6, and that's multiplied by 8. That gives me 200 ml of milk, right? So that's done. Next one is saying for 9 people, I would need how much? For 9 people, I would need sultanas. I would need is 90 divided by 6, and that multiplied by 9. So that gives me 45 grams of sultanas. The butter, how much butter do I need? That would be 45 divided by 6 once again and multiplied by 9. So that gives me 135 by 2, and that is 67.5 grams of butter. So yeah, so that's what it is. Then the question goes on to say, later I find the recipe for the same pudding, but this version calls for 5 eggs. So I would need, as I said before, we are keeping to the same assumption that that only the number of eggs have changed and the rest other things remain the same. So if only the number of eggs have changed, then with 3 eggs you could serve 6 people. I mean, you could make a cake for pudding for 6 people using 3 eggs. So now if you have a 5 egg version for the same thing, with the rest other things remaining the same, you would need 6 divided by 3, which is coming from the older one, and then multiplied by 5. Why am I dividing 6 by 3? Because we're trying to find out with 1 egg how many people you can serve. And so if with 1 egg you can serve this many people, then with 5 eggs you can serve this many people. So as you have realized, I'm sure that that's the logic we have used in the other questions as well. Okay, so the next one, so keeping that it's dependent on the C, because we are saying that it serves 10 people. So then in the part D, they're asking us if in the 5 egg version, how much flour would you need? So we have to serve 10 people. That is what I'm assuming, that, that with 10 people, you have to serve 10 people, so we have to calculate the amount of the flour that is needed, and the flour will be for 6 people. You needed 240 grams of flour, so for 10 people you will need 240 divided by 6 multiplied by 10, which is 400 grams of flour, and that's what I've written. So hopefully this makes it clear, and the question is answered. So if you have any questions or you do not agree with anything, then please do leave a comment. We'll move on to the next question. The next one is, this one is a bit different. It is about factors, finding factors of numbers and adding them up. It's not very difficult, but it is a bit twisty. So we'll start. Harry invents a game which he calls King's Digit. Okay, so he's saying that for any number he chooses, he works out all the whole numbers that divide exactly into it. For example, if he chooses the number 8, then all the whole numbers that divide exactly into that are 1, 2, 4, and 8. These are called the factors of 8. He then adds up these factors to find the King's digit. So the King's digit of 8 equals 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 equals 15. So 15 is the King's digit. Another example of King's digit of 9 is 1 plus 3 plus 9 is 13. Find the King's digit of 16. So how do we go about doing it? So if you have to find the King's digit, there's one thing, there are 2 steps to be followed. The first is you have to find the factors. Okay, and then you have to add those factors. So if we have to find the one for 16, you have to find out the factors of 16. So what are the factors of 16? The factors of 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. 4 times 4 is 16, 8 times 2 is 16, and 16 times 1 is 16. So these are the factors. So the King's digit is going to be simply adding up these numbers. So 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16, and that gives me 31. I've done some, broken down the addition into steps. I was just trying to be very, being very, I don't know what I was trying to do, but I was just breaking it up. So I get 31. So we get 31 is the answer. Okay, the next one, it says, if the King's digit of a number is 7, what is the number? Now, they have said that the King's digit is 7, so they have already done the factors, and they have added up these factors, and then they got 7. So what did they do? So if the King's digit is 7, think of it. If you try to start from 1, and if you try to write some of the, think of 2 as a number and try to do the factors, it'll be only 1 and 2, and when you add 1 and 2, you don't get 7. Then let's think of 3. If you do 1 plus 3, you don't get 7. Okay, and if you think of 4, then what would be the factors? The factors would be 1, 2, 4, and that is 7. 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 4 is 7. So then the number is 4. So you see how I am getting to the number. Okay, that's how I think that it should be done. But of course, if you have a different method, please do try it. Your method may be easier and simpler than mine, but you have to get to the answer, and I think that is 4. Okay, so the next one is the C. Part C tells us if the King's digit of a number is 12, there are 2 possible numbers. Now, what are they? So, the sum of the factors is 12. So, what are the possible factors? So, I've done this in as set 1 and set 2. So, set 1, you will see that if the sum of the factors is 12, then the factors could be 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, so the number is 6. Now from the previous question, we know that it can't be 4, because when you add up the factors of 4, you get 7. So this one, adding up the factors, you get 12. So it has to be more than 4. You know that. So you don't have to start from 1 and 2 again. That's what I mean. So you can straight away go to 5. If you it thought 5 was a number, then the factors would be 1 and 5. So 1 plus 5 is 6. No, that's not true. Then the next number is 6. So if the factor is 6, then if the number is 6, sorry, the factors would be 1, 2, 3, 6. So then 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6 is 12. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 6 is 12. So that answers the first bit, the set 1, and the one number is 6. The next number, is it 7? What happens if it is 7? If it is 7, the factors would be 1 and 7. In fact, 7 is a prime number. What if it's 8? If it's 8, it is 1, 2, 4. That's it. 4 times 2 is 8. And 8, so that's not 12. So then what is it? It's not 9, it will be more. 10, no, because 5 plus 2 is 7, and 1 is 8, and then that's much more is coming to 80, so it's a lot more. So if we do 11, 11 is quite safe. Now, the only two factors of 11 are 1 and 11, and 1 plus 11 is 12. So I think these two are your numbers. So the numbers are 6 and 11. That if you so if you add up the factors of these two numbers, you would get 12. So that's your king's digit. So next we have the king's digit of 3 different numbers is 24. That's the next part. So 2 of them are consecutive numbers. Find 3 numbers. Now again, see that if the king's digit is 24, we have to think that the numbers are not really 6 or 11. It can't be. So what are the numbers? So I have again done it this way. The sum of the factors is 24. So the possible factors are, so the set 1 I've put in as the number, I think, is 14. So what I was doing is I was just writing out these numbers and trying to add them up. So writing out the numbers as factors that are factors of, after 11, if you do factors of 12 and 13 and 14, you will get to this, because you've done up to 11, isn't it? So then go after that. Don't go back, it will take more time. So if you go after that, then you would get 14 if you do. So 1 plus 2 plus 7 plus 14 is 24. 1 plus 2 is 3, and 7 is 10, plus 14 is 24. So then for 24, then 14 is your one of the numbers. The next number is 15, because 2 numbers are consecutive numbers. It's not 13, because the only 2 factors of 13 are 1 and 13, and 1 plus 13 is 14. So it's not 13, so it can be 15. So we did it for 15. The set 2 I said is for 15, and 1, 3, 5 and 15 are the factors of 15. And if you add them up, 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 5 is 9, plus 15 is 24. So we got our 2 consecutive numbers. The third one is, it's not 16, no, 8 plus 2 is 10, 1, 8, 1, 2, 4, 8, 8 and 2 make 10, so it's, and then 10 plus 16 is 26, so it's going higher. So I thought, let me think of 23. That's a prime number, and the only 2 factors of a prime number are 1 and the number itself. So 23 plus 1 is 24. So I went with 23. So it's 14, 15 and 23. Those are the numbers, and I think that's the answer. So this completes our question. Go through the question, try to work it out yourself. If you have something, get a different answer, or you have a different way of doing it, please leave a comment. It will be nice to know that. And thank you very much for watching, and please like and subscribe if you find the videos useful. Thank you. Bye.